So this will be a real quick video. Haven't made a video on this channel for the last few weeks because I've been busy with work, but also the algorithm has been giving me really hard time. I would make a Kamzat video and get 2,000 views, and then I would try to repeat it maybe 2 or 3 days later with a very interesting topic relating to Kamzat as well. Same tags, same titles, and I couldn't get 150 people to watch it. I would make a Brendan Schaub video and it would get 5,000 or 6,000 views, and then I would try to repeat the process a week later because there's always loads to talk about got to do with Schaub, and 200 views, nothing. Radio silence. I can't figure out the algorithm. It's very frustrating, and it actually takes away from the enjoyment of making videos, and I do enjoy making it. I'm going to talk about Dana White today. I'm going to talk about the UFC bending the knee to this woke, radical, left-leaning, progressive ideology. Dana White confirms that UFC fighters can't carry flags to the cage anymore. You guys know the UFC fighters are no longer allowed to walk out or to celebrate with their flags of their countries. This is absolutely insane, but it's not surprising because I've been saying it and a few others have been saying it for a while, that the UFC is slowly leaning to the left, and we understand that this is definitely not Dana. We can understand that he was pissed off, and I'll play the clip in a minute. He was pissed off to even answer why this was a thing, because we know that this is about Russia. But we'll read into it because I think it's quite disgusting, to be honest with you. So Randy Brown fought in the weekend. I watched the fight. He was fighting a guy called Chaos Williams. Chaos Williams was throwing haymakers. Randy Brown was getting clipped in the first round. He started to use a bit of distance, use a bit of timing, started circling to the left and actually pieced the guy up. He won the fight, and when he was being interviewed by Joe Rogan, he spoke about the fact that they didn't let us get the flag, so I had to shout out Jamaica, he explained. He pointed out something that had been missing from the UFC 274 prelims undercard: a distinct lack of flags being hoisted up by fighters before and after their bouts. No more flags during walkouts, no more flags in the cage. A closer look through the official UFC photos from the event showed that the promotion is no longer doing fighter portraits with their flags either. When Dana was asked about this in the press conference in the aftermath of 274, his response was, yeah, you guys know why. He said when he got pressed on the issue, let's not even play that effing game. White is generally not shy when it comes to telling it like it is, but in this case he clamped up pretty hard. If the UFC is banning flags to avoid offending authoritarian regimes, it's a pretty sad state of affairs. This is to avoid controversy if Russian fighters carry out their flag as the country is involved in the invasion of Ukraine, or perhaps it's Russians who don't want to look at the Ukrainian flag. I don't think it's Russians who don't want to look at the Ukrainian flag. Let's be realistic here, because we spoke about it a million times and I speak about it on my other channel. The Ukrainian invasion by Russia is the current thing. Far too many facets in the fire to really comprehend what's going on between Ukraine and Russia. It's not just a case of Russia is evil, Putin is evil, and they've invaded. There's a civil war happening in the Donbass region of that country for almost 8 years. Ukrainian authorities have shelled Ukrainian ethnic Russians that live in that region for many years. It's a back and forth thing, way more complicated than we can comprehend. And obviously you can't expect to get information from the mainstream media. So whatever the mainstream media are saying regarding this, I will go the complete and opposite other way. When we look at the likes of Zelensky and the oligarchs, the corruption, this country was never going to be allowed into NATO. We're being told that that's the reason why there's a war over there now. Far too complicated. But to bring that into the UFC, I mean, Colby Covington, my favorite fighter on the UFC roster, carries an American flag every time he fights. He's going to be stopped from doing that now. Now, if we were to play by the game that seems to have happened here from the advertisers and from the people with the money, because I don't think it was Dana White, it's the advertisers that he's looking for, and it's all about money at the end of the day for the company and for the president himself. But if we look, then the US have invaded so many countries in the last 15 or 20 years. Then we should have been banning American flags for the last 20 years. If we go by this sort of rhetoric, if we go by this ideology, I think it's absolutely ludicrous and insane.
Walk out with flags, is that something that's going to move forward?
Yeah.
Any specific reasons or just no flag?
You know why. You guys know why.
Hey, Dana.
Let's not even play that fucking
Dana,
game.
I think you have.
That's a serious brush off there. You guys know why, he says. I mean, listen, we do know why, or we can assume why. It's because the whole world has gone insane. I'm interested to see if Conor McGregor is allowed to walk out with the Irish flag. That'll be an interesting one, because I don't think Conor gives two fucks what anyone thinks. And I mean, to stop him walking out with an Irish flag, that'll be a fucking war. That'll be a Conor McGregor walkout with the Irish flag. And every Russian, every Ukrainian, and every other country should be allowed to walk out there proudly with their flag. This is bullshit media games. This is woke far left ideology seeping into the UFC. It has already destroyed the movie industry. It has already destroyed the comic book industry. It has already destroyed so many industries. And it's only going to get worse. It looks like it's only going to get worse. Do me a favor. Let me know down below what you think. Is Conor McGregor not going to carry out the Irish flag the next time he steps into the octagon? Has Dana White bent the knee? Is the UFC being infiltrated by a communist, cultural, Marxist ideology? I think it's scary times ahead for the UFC if this comes to fruition. Thanks.